Okay, so what I was saying is this MV star architecture followed by Angular is good for the applications which are too complex, big in size, lots of code, lots of business logic that goes at the UI level as well. That's where your Angular framework is going to be good. It's a framework, so it provides a lot of things, a lot of support for application development, which can make it easy for the developers to create complex applications. Okay, and again, there is a guidance available because of the structure provided by the architecture and so on. Now, the question is, will we be having the applications requirement always the same at very complex level? Will we be having the applications which have lots of business logic always running in the browser? No. Sometimes my requirement could be the business logic running on the server side only, modified data or processed data it is going to send to the client, and client's duty is just to accept that data as it is and get it displayed onto the page. That's it. I don't require too much of business logic to be on the client side. Maybe basic event handling might be required in addition. Got my point? So basically, here we need to understand how the manipulation of the UI is done in web. When you say there is a web page loaded, this web page actually is completely based on HTML, correct? If I right click here and say view page source, what it shows me is HTML. HTML comes with some tokens which are known to the browser, and browser understands how to process it, and then one by one it starts processing it. The structure which it builds is actually a tree-like structure. If you look at the code, how it is written, that structure of the code itself is a tree-like structure. In memory also, it builds that tree-like structure and then actually processes those HTML tokens or tags or attributes and then gets your UI ready. The render engine of the browser basically is responsible for reading this structure and provide the UI to you. Understood? This tree structure is something what we call as DOM, D-O-M, DOM. What it stands for? Anybody knows?
Document Object Model.
That's right. It stands for Document Object Model. At the HTML level, probably we cannot do anything with this DOM because HTML is a static kind of language. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
In order to manipulate this DOM, we require some dynamic code. Probably that is written using JavaScript because that's the language that browser understands. Browser understands only three things mainly: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML for the DOM creation, I would say. CSS is for look and feel, the design part, and JavaScript is for the dynamic effects or the UI manipulation or DOM manipulation simply. Understood? Now, the way how the JavaScript language has been built, it looks too complicated. At times, the code becomes very, very complex. Not very easy to debug, troubleshoot. Errors in JavaScript take a lot of time, even if it is a simple error, simple mistake. It takes a lot of time to find out where the mistake is and fix it. Reason, sometimes JavaScript just works the way how it is not supposed to. It just follows a different path. And debugging that itself is a big challenge. That is where people were looking for some simplification there. In came Jquery. Jquery made the DOM manipulation little easy, with the communication with the backend also becoming little easy. But still, Jquery was focusing only on basic DOM manipulation by providing some wrappers created on the JavaScript features which were already there in place. There was no structure to the code. Haphazardly, just like how we write JavaScript, the Jquery code also used to be written. It's not a language. It's just a library which says that, okay, instead of writing 4 or 5 lines of code, you write just one line of code and your job will be done. The code is still written in JavaScript only. So it allowed compressing the amount of code, but it was not well structured. So not very suitable again for complex business applications. The application still used to look haphazardly created and pretty lengthy. Though not as lengthy as JavaScript, but still, they are still lengthy. And the biggest disadvantage that we have with normal JavaScript or jQuery is the DOM, though it is manipulated, there the DOM actually is not manipulated. There is a copy of DOM which is created and changes are made there and which replaces your original DOM. Complete DOM is replaced, which takes time. Something which browser has already loaded, you have to unload that completely and then you have to reload the new DOM. Not very efficient. Understood? Understood? Angular also does the DOM manipulation, but it again falls back to JavaScript and jQuery for the same. What it means, the DOM manipulation here also is based on replacing the DOM. So when I say edit, it's actually recreating the UI portion for this, and for that the whole DOM is unloaded and reloaded over here. When I say update something, because there is a change going in, it just reloads the complete DOM. Now because the things are working locally, it is so quick that we don't realize that it's that way. And right now the application size also is not that big. Only few components are there. This grid also is having just few records, 3-4 records only, so it looks fast. But if you have many number of rows being displayed and complex UI is there, this will be a significant difference. When the DOM is completely recreated, it will actually be not good for from the performance point of view. Understand? It will use more CPU resources, more RAM resources also. So that is also not good for smaller devices. Am I right? Yes or no? That is where Facebook came up with a library called as React.js. It's a library, it's not a framework. The library which provides some pre-created features and provides a structured programming approach also, unlike jQuery or JavaScript. Here we have a structure, and this library, how it works differently is it basically maintains a virtual copy of the DOM. Main DOM is already loaded. There is a virtual copy of the DOM, which is always there associated with the application. Whatever UI changes you do, instead of making those changes directly in the physical DOM, it makes those changes first in virtual DOM. And then it basically compares the physical DOM and virtual DOM, finds what has changed, and only the changed portion is picked from the virtual DOM and merged with the physical DOM. Instead of reloading the complete physical DOM, it just does an in-place update, which makes it more better in terms of performance. I would say this is more optimized behavior. Yes or no? See, this is pretty important for the applications like Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, the social networking things. Reason? When you are on your Facebook page, going through the various updates which people must have shared with you. Now, when you are on that page, if some of your connect post another update, do you see your Facebook page automatically start showing that new update also on the top? You don't refresh anything, but it automatically gets added. Yes or no? It just appears. Behind scenes, probably the Facebook website receives a notification from server via some callback that okay, this is the new post. And the React.js library takes over from there. It manipulates the virtual DOM and merges the changes with the physical DOM. Because it manipulates virtual DOM, your physical DOM is free. It's not blocked. User can still keep on working. Whatever updates are going on, they are all in the backend. And then the merging activity is pretty fast, because as soon as there is an update, the virtual DOM gets the change and gets it merged with the physical DOM immediately. It doesn't pile up the dependency there. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that makes it pretty nice. This UI I'll get closed. Swagger I'll keep running because again, the same API I'm going to use as the server. I would need this, right? I'm not stopping it. Just keep this minimized, the browser also minimized. Just like yesterday also, we saw how we launched or how we set up the Angular development environment. Here to work with React, we need to set up the React development environment. React also uses the node tools only, including Npm. Now, the good part is we already installed Node and Npm yesterday, right? We need not do that again. Once it is installed on the machine, it's there forever. Until and unless either you don't remove it or your machine goes bad. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So what we need to see? Only how do I set up React development environment? So for that, go to your command line. Use the command npm I -g. I is for install. -g is for global, means machine level installation for all users. create dash react dash app, popularly known as CRA, and press enter. And this is pretty quick. Not too many things need to be installed. This create React app is just a tool which allow you to create the React applications. By the name itself, it must be clear. Yes? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Is it done? I hope it's done for all. It doesn't take too much time. Now here, I want to see what version of React I am running. So issue the command npm view react version and press enter. I'm sure it must be the same version at your end as well. 17.0.2. Is that right?
Yes.
Now I want to create my first application. I'll say create dash react dash app. Name of the application. Now with React there is a rule. The name of the application must use all small characters only. Special characters apart from hyphen are not allowed. Hyphen and underscore are the two special characters allowed. Nothing else allowed here. Numeric values can be used in the middle or at the end, but not at the beginning. So maybe we can name this as apt API client hash react app. Just to differentiate with our other applications, I put dash react app. Create dash react dash app space the name, which is supposed to be in all small characters. Press enter. It says creating a new React app in the location it displays, and then it is just setting up the things. For React, now you have choice, like again you can decide to code with JavaScript or TypeScript. With Angular, modern versions now it is TypeScript always, whereas React allows you to choose the language. Understood? Yes? Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
For our demo, we are going to use JavaScript. You can convert the same program using TypeScript also if you develop your comfort in the TypeScript language. You have to practice TypeScript first to be comfortable with it. Okay, so it's done. Once the prompt comes back, some options displayed like success, created so and so app at so and so location. Inside that directory, you can run several commands. Overall, 4 commands it is showing: npm start, npm run build, npm test, and npm run eject. Npm run eject removes the CRA app, CRA development tool, and packs everything into, configuration files, dependencies, scripts into one application directory. But this is something which is suggested to be done once all the development is finished. No more changes are supposed to be done, because this finalizes your application. No more updates will be accepted. Npm test basically is used for running the test runner. For JavaScript, again, we have multiple test runners: Jasmine, Karma, Mocha, and so on. So whichever test runner you have configured, you are using, and using which you have already created the test script to test your components, then npm test will run. Basically, it does unit testing and integration testing, provided the script for testing is there. Npm run build is basically to bundle the entire application into static files, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all, which can then be deployed on any web server. And at that time, there will be no dependency on the development server at all. Npm start, the first command here, is for starting the development server. Like yesterday, we were using ngserve. Here, React doesn't have a native development server of its own. It simply uses the node development server only, which is launched with npm start. Do you get it? If you have got some errors over here, you can just go to directory with the name of your application, and then here you can say npm install, just like few things we tried yesterday. If the application doesn't get set up properly, maybe because of internet connectivity or something getting lost in between, you can always say npm install, which will automatically find the missing dependencies and get them installed and set up. This npm install you have to do inside the application directory. Here, if you say dir, few common things from yesterday's implementation with Angular you will find. There is package.json, there is src folder, there is node modules folder. You see that? Yes. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What next we did yesterday? We first of all tried what by default we get while creating the application, right? So here I start the server, npm start. Okay, it seems on my machine the port number 3000, which is by default used by React applications, is already occupied. Some other service may be using it. Environment is so smart that it automatically offers me, would you like to run the app on another port instead? I say yes. It may not be the case for you, as on your machines port 3000 may be available already. Here it has launched the browser. It took port number 3006 for me. And here is the sample application created. App.js is the entry point, and which is why it is saying edit that file, save and reload so that the content of this file can be changed. And then there is a link to the official React.js website, which is reactjs.org. Okay. Now, next thing we did was we opened the application in VS Code. So here I go to VS Code, start VS Code if it is not already started, file, open folder. Which folder? The React application that we have developed. So it's in Providence 5 demos, and the name of my application is Department API Client dash React app. I go inside it and say select folder. Yes. Yes. Everyone open the folder.
Yes, sir.
Here you have node modules, which contains all node stuff. Here you have src, which contains all of your app code. Here is public folder, which is basically the static files. And your index.html file is here, which basically forms the shell. The basic HTML structure provided from here. And within this, we inject the DOM manipulated by React. So for that purpose, we have this div created with the ID root. This is where we will be injecting our stuff from React. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Like yesterday, here for this program also, I want Jquery to be installed, Bootstrap to be installed. And there are two ways for it. yesterday we discussed. One way is npm install command, or else here in the package.json under dependencies I can add the package names followed by versions, right? Now package names, there is a chance that we may do some kind of typo mistake. Same is the case with version also. That's where it's better and safe to get all the packages installed from command line. Now because I need to install something, I need to stop the server. Here I say Control C, Y and enter. Then I say npm I Jquery -save. This is exactly same thing what we did yesterday also. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Let's install Bootstrap as well, the theming framework. I'm also going to need the routes to be created and used in this application to provide the typical single page application behavior. I'm going to install another package here, something that is named as React Router DOM. I want a specific version of this to be installed, as the latest version has got some issues with it. So I put at the rate after the package name and then the version. Press enter. I didn't use a hyphen save here because I may not be actually looking for this package to be there for all or most of my projects. When and where required, I'll just download it again from the internet. Anyways, the size of this package is pretty small. You can see how quickly it got it installed. Yes or no? So before we start the server, just open this package.json once again and see what all new things it has brought in. Last package that we installed, then
So what was the last command? npm I React Router.
npm I React Router DOM. This is the name at the rate 5.1.2. React Router DOM at the rate 5.1.2.
So can you please show once command?
Here it is.
Done, sir. Thank you.
I'm going to need one more package over here, that is React Router based on Bootstrap. npm I React Router Bootstrap at 0.26.0. Okay, probably not required here. That's fine. Ignore this. Let's see if the entry is here. No. So that's fine.
So in my case, the same error is showing when I'm typing npm start.
So for Bootstrap,
Yeah.
I'm not getting any error.
React Router Bootstrap, is it?
Yeah, I'm not getting any error.
Okay, can you open your package.json file?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's open.
And can you tell me what is the version of React Router DOM?
5.1.2.
Okay, so if it is installed, that's okay. Even if it is not installed, that's also okay. That is actually a dependency of React Router DOM future version. That is,
Actually,
if you are using version 6.
yeah, so what happened is actually by mistake, you were writing DOM, till then I pressed enter. So I already installed React Router version 6.2.1.
So remove that entry from your package.json.
How do I remove it?
Just go to the package.json,
Acha, delete it.
select the wrong entry, delete it, and then go back to the command line and say npm install, or else just change the version here. If both entries are there, the wrong entry you can delete.
So I deleted React Router, only React Router.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
so make sure your configuration file is looking like this for dependencies.
I'm getting an error while installing React Router DOM.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I will. Yes, sir.
I believe you have put double dash before DOM. Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
It should be react dash router dash DOM at 5.1.2.
Thank you.
Okay, almost set. Start your server and you should see the output once again.
So your screen is not visible.
Right, sharing. Once it is visible, just confirm so that I can proceed.
Yes, it's visible now.
Okay, so my app is again up and running. Yes, what we did, we just installed 4 packages there, 3 packages there. Yes or no? What next? We want something of our own to be developed. So the first thing you should do here is you go to the src folder, open app.js file, and maybe you can delete all this. HTML part of it under return, and here you say save and see. Here also I'm having hot reload available. Just make changes, save, except the configuration files. Any file you change, save, and it automatically gets reflected in the browser. Same way how the Angular development server was doing it for me. Npm development server or Node development server also is doing the same. We get it? Now, the actual changes start here. Open index.html file from public folder. Nothing much to be changed here. We are just going to add one additional tag, which our application is going to use pretty soon.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I got stuck at one point, in the beginning itself.
Yes.
We have written a command npm start, right?
Yes.
So there, your server got started, but mine, few errors are showing.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Yes, sir. Sir, is my screen sharing, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. Can you show me the first line of error?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just type CLS, press enter. You know why it's not working? Because you are not in the folder of your application. So first go inside the folder. Type CD space the name of the application. Now, first of all, install the packages. Jquery -f and save. Now install Bootstrap. Now install react-router-dom @5.1.2. Now say npm start.
So there is one more command, right? Like npm I react router bootstrap at the rate 0.26.0.
That's not required. We will
Yes,
not
sir.
be using the features as of now.
Yes, sir.
Started, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now go to VS Code, open the folder, select folder, go to src app.js, delete from line number 6 to 21, put h1 tag there with some message. Okay,
Yes, sir.
now open public folder, open index.html. So I hope everyone is done till here. In this index.html file now, one new tag we are going to add just after the last meta element that we have here. Put the tag called as base equal to percent in caps public underscore URL percent and self close this tag. Basically, this is to store the base address of your website. Programmatically, or React application is going to use this in routing. This public URL automatically takes the base address of your website. http:// domain name. In our case, it is localhost colon 3000 for you guys and 3006 for me. Yes. Done. Is it done?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Save the file, and then all of your components are supposed to be put into the src folder. Basically, all your development work will be happening here. Now, I'm saying component. What does it mean? It's a shared or reusable piece of code along with some UI coupled with each other. Code and UI, the combination in React is called as component. Understood? So for all of my custom components, what I'll do is in src, I'll create a subfolder. Just right click on src and say new folder. Name it as components. All small. Done? Is it done?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Right click on this components folder, and here now I'm looking to have a JS file created here. So just select new file and name it as fetch departments.js. If it is TypeScript file, extension will be .ts. Then you would need the TypeScript code to be written into it. No settings required as such for that. Your React server knows both languages. Press enter here. The empty file fetch departments.js is created. Got it? Yes, everybody? Everybody created this file or not? Make sure it is there in the folder components. Please confirm.
Yes, sir. Done.
Goes our import statements from module named as React. What I want to import is complete React namespace. I mean, the group of components, and then the specific classes. Yesterday also we saw can be imported by putting the names into the curly braces. From here, I'm looking for a class called as component to be imported. Then import from React router DOM. What I want to import here is the class called as link. That will provide the way to work with the hyperlinks. Clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now starts the code for this. Here the actual component I want to create. It starts with export class h departments. Basically, I'm creating a component called as fetch departments here. Use exactly same name as that of what you have used for the file name. And you know why export is used. If I don't use this, the class will be locally available. If I use export, throughout the application, the class can be used. I mean, you can import only those items which are exported. Not exported elements cannot be imported, which means this class will become local if it is not exported. I want this class to inherit from the base class called as component. curly braces, and then make the arrangement like this. Yes? Done? Is it done?
Yes, sir.
I want a constructor to be created for this class. In React, basically the constructor allows you to deal with the state properties of your component. The state in React basically is maintained by using two things. One is state property, and the other way is pass the props property to the constructor. Props represents collection of properties, and state can hold anything that you want. If you are looking for the state to be sent from one component to another, there the props will be required. And if you want the state to be used within this component only, then the state is used. It's always a good idea to to make the constructor accept a parameter named as props. So that any point in time, if I wish to use props, I can use it. And then I pass on the initialization of the props to my base class constructor. So here I say super props. Like in C# we have base. JavaScript, being based on Java language, uses some of the keywords which are similar to the Java language. So super is the Java language keyword to refer to your base class. Okay, then here I say this dot state equal to, I need to decide what the state is going to hold. I'll say it's a JSON object which is going to be put into this object that has the first member by the name departments, and which is actually going to be an array. Now today I'm using JavaScript, so I cannot specify the data type here. JavaScript doesn't have data types which can be assigned explicitly to the variables, right? There is another state property I want to maintain towards the Boolean value true. This will remain true when the component is loading. I'll make it false once the component loading is finished. Programmatically, I'll handle it. Basically, this property I'm going to use to display some engagement to the user that, okay, your data is getting loaded or your component is getting loaded. Maybe some animation I can create there. And once loading becomes false, means loading is finished, then I say display the actual content. Understood? Let's create called as component did bound. This method is already defined inside your base class component. You're just going to override it. The system automatically calls this component or this method whenever the component is initialized in the memory. Okay, and if you change the state over here, it will make your virtual DOM modified and the changes being merged into the physical DOM. That is the process, something what we call as re-rendering. I say whenever the component loading is finished, immediately call a method called as this dot populate department. What is this method? Is it built in? It cannot be. See the name, populate departments data it is. How the system will know about my API or my backend? It's not possible. It's not a built-in method. We will be writing it shortly. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, whenever there are changes in the state of the data, I want re-rendering to happen then as well for edit operation basically. So here I override another method, component did update. What this does, the same thing, this dot populate departments data. Whenever the browser refresh button is clicked, React will reload the application. Hence, every time this will be called whenever refresh is happening. But once the page is on the screen and the data is changed by using update feature, then I want this to be automatically called. So I need not call these two methods. It is the system's duty to hook these as event handlers. Is that clear?
Yes.
Then I create an async method over here by the name populate departments data, which is what we are calling on line number 11 and 15 in my case. What this is supposed to do? This is supposed to communicate with my API, right? I'll need the path of the API. So basically, from Swagger, I can get the base address. Here I just say constant once equal to await fetch. Fetch is a JavaScript method directly to communicate with web APIs. I pass the path inside the double quotes here, followed by API, followed by departments API. The response object actually here is going to be of type HTTP response. From there, I want the JSON formatted data to be retrieved. So here I say it is this constant data that will hold the JSON formatted data coming out of response. Here I say await response dot JSON. And whatever data that I have received, now I can set to the state property departments and set the loading to false because my job is completed. So here I say this dot set state. JSON object where department's property is assigned to the data that I have received, comma, loading is assigned to these are the members of component class automatically being called by the system. I have just overridden them. This is a helper method. Nowhere else it is going to be used. And then comes another built-in method that I need to override here, which decides the look and feel of the component fetch departments. Every React component will come up with the method render. Okay, done till here.
So just one doubt, like 44351 is not the React code like that path, right? It's the previous.
Yes, API.
Yeah, okay.
Because API is running there now. You have to put the port number, what has been allotted to your API. Understood?
Yes, yes.
Now, what render does? It actually decides the UI. So probably the HTML work is taken care of by render. One thing to be noticed, this file is a JavaScript file. And still I am going to use HTML also into it with full parser support. Reason behind that is React basically supports a language called as JSX, JavaScript extensions, which allows JavaScript and HTML to coexist. Here I say let contents, this is a variable I'm defining, equal to this dot state dot loading. Basically, I want to decide the value of contents based on whether loading is true or false. So I can do that with if else also, but there is a simplified way available here. I put a ternary operator. If loading is true, means component is not yet loaded, it's loading. I want to display a paragraph with emphasized text into it. The text is loading dot dot dot. Loading is false, means loading is finished. I want to call an helper method called as render departments table, which I pass this dot state dot data or departments, what we have given departments. Understood? What syntax it is? JavaScript, HTML coexisting. That is JSX syntax. Done till here?
So could you please explain the let contents line 1 second?
Yeah, sure. Let contents basically is the declaration of a variable called as contents. Okay, and then the value for which is being decided based on whether the value of loading is true or false. Load, as per the declaration here, what we are doing here, we can see it's a Boolean value. So can we put a condition on this or not? If true, if false, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that's what the condition is. And this ternary operator basically is a shorthand notation for if else. You can read it like if this dot state dot loading equals to true, then this, else this. So question mark is the true part, and what code you write after colon is the false part. When condition is true, this is what is assigned to contents. When when the loading is false, the result of this method is assigned to contents. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then goes the return statement. Because this return statement is the one which decides what will be displayed ultimately into the view. So here I construct the real HTML. There goes div, there goes h1 element with ID, property being set to table label or whatever you want. I want this to be used as a label for a table, so I named it as table label. And then here goes the text to be displayed in between, that is departments. After this, I want a paragraph to be displayed. This is only for our understanding. And HS departments data from the server. Then I want another paragraph to be created, wherein I want to create an hyperlink. So I use the link class, which maps to the relative path, the base address plus to assign here. It goes to base address / add department. I'll put the class over here with class name equals to btn primary. Angle bracket close, so it generates /link. In between, I want to show the text, create new department. Now, why I'm not using the anchor tag ahref? When I go for ahref, that is a browser link, which means it will cause the complete reload of the page. If I'm looking for SPA, single page application, I don't want that complete reload. I want in-place modifications to the DOM. That's what the link class has been designed for. I just want to say, unload the existing component and load another component in the same place. And then whatever the value of contents is here, I want to put that after the paragraph directly. So put curly braces, single pair of curly braces, contents. This is the expression in React. In Angular, we use double curly braces, right? For expressions. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Here it is single. Now, one important thing pending here. the method render departments table. I need to create that. So just outside the render method, make sure you are outside the render method. Here a method render departments table, which receives the parameter by the name departments. I expect departments data to be coming in here in the form of JSON array or something. I just say return. This method is supposed to return some HTML only. So I say return. I want that table to be designed here. Here goes the table tag with class name attribute being set to bootstrap class table dash striped table dash hover, followed by another attribute aria dash labeled by table label, which is this. So what this attribute does is it links my table to this h1, where h1 is treated as the label for the table being defined here. Closing angle bracket, and then it generates slash table tag automatically. Here I say there is a caption for this table. I would say that some kind of caption or label for that table. A class name. It's title actually. I say text enter for alignment. Close the angle bracket, and in between here, title as department list. There goes table header, T head. In between goes the header row. So tr th/th. Copy this 4 more times. So total 5 th I want here. First one I keep blank. Second one I put department number. Third one I put department name. Fourth one I put location. Here it doesn't matter actually what case you are using. This is just going to be displayed as it is. The last one again I leave empty. And then after T head, T body, the body section. I'll have some JSX code over here, JavaScript code, which will get this done. Now I have the collection, the array available. One is I can go for that for each iteration, but there is a better option provided by JavaScript now with the help of a method called as map. So I can directly say departments dot map. Works exactly like for each only. So here I say single department in the department collection goes into the callback function code written here. In fact, curly braces are not required here. I just push it on the next line, and here I say what I want to repeat for every record of department is what I want to put in the row. Remember one thing, every row for the table must have the unique identification for the records being displayed. So here I say tr is having its key attribute being set to department number in curly braces. Here the case must be the same as what you have been receiving from the web API. So I say department number like this. Push slash tr on the next line. What I have in the row is td. Copy and paste this. Total 5 elements I need. First one I leave blank. Second one shows me department number in curly braces. The expression. Say department dot dname. Then department dot location. And then here I'm going to have couple of buttons. So I say button last name equals btn dash success. Click handler goes here. A parameter it takes, that is id. Lambda arrow. Here I want to call a method from the current class named as handle edit. Not yet created, we will be creating it shortly again. Requires this edit function will require department number to be passed to it. So I say department number goes here. Close the tag. In between, put the text edit, and there I want some space between the two buttons. So I say ampersand nbsp semicolon followed by another ampersand nbsp semicolon, where ampersand nbsp is non-breaking space, the space character I am introducing. And then I copy and paste this button. Few changes here. This is going to use the class btn danger. On click, this also takes id and calls the function handle delete, which also is yet to be created. Department number goes in as a parameter, and here I say delete. Okay. End of map should not have a semicolon here. It was showing some error. What is pending now? If you look at the code,
Sir, I have a doubt.
yes,
What does the key attribute do?
key attribute gives a unique identity to your row. Many times I would require that. Let's say if I'm looking to do some kind of filtering while delete operation, let's say I know that it was the third row which got deleted. So don't you think I should remove it from the UI also?
Yes, sir.
There this key will come into picture.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I also had a doubt. Sir,
Yes.
what is handle edit?
Handle edit is a function that we are going to write shortly, and which is actually going to be like what to do when the edit button is clicked.
Okay, sir.
Event handler, basically. So it's not a built-in function. Understand?
Yes, sir.
It will be written by us only. Now look at the whole code that we have written so far and tell me what is pending. Everything that is pending, you should tell me. Top to bottom, complete code, please check.
The two functions handle edit and delete.
Exactly. That's the only thing which seems to be pending, right? Where to write? Just after render departments table is finished. So make sure you are outside of render departments table. Okay? Here I say, write the method handle edit first. That takes in department number as the parameter. What I want is my current view, I want to get replaced with the new view. The new view will be rendered by another component named as add department. We have not yet created, but I want using the router, this should work. So for that reason, I say this dot props dot history dot push edit dash department. It should be slash edit dash department slash then plus and the parameter department number. What this will do, it will create a navigation request from current route to new route that will be base address of the website slash edit dash department slash whatever department number we have selected. Understood?
So what does this push method does?
It creates a navigation request. That's what I said just now. There is a history object in React properties which keeps track of which route is right now active and what all other routes are there. So when I say push this, it actually changes the current route from the current to the route which you are pushing. So does the navigation from one view to another. Understood?
So can we simply put the URL and connect it to the edit function, like edit URL?
You can do that, but the problem is how will you pass department number there? If you create a simple hyperlink, it will cause the complete page reload. And that is what we are looking to avoid with single page application, right?
Yes, sir. So you are saying that in the like in the URL we can put the parameter as department number, but then it will reload the page.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
So I don't want complete reload. I just want to replace the view with another. Like here, the view is replaced, right? Everything remained as it is. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Just the view is replaced. So virtually, if this is happening at the object level, I mean the navigation, then there must be some data structure handling this, no? So it is this props history property which is actually handling this. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then outside handle edit, create the next function handle delete, which also takes in department number as a parameter. When user clicks delete, it could be accidental also, right? With touch screens being used everywhere, accidentally, if I touch the delete button, the record will be deleted without my knowledge. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So don't you think I should always go for a confirmation for delete? That's what I code here. If not, JavaScript provides me an object called as window, which comes up with a method called as confirm. Confirm automatically pops up a message box with a question being asked. Which question that we will be putting in this string? And there are two buttons, yes, no, or okay, cancel, depending on which browser you are using and which operating system you are using. So in either case, one button will be a positive response, one button will be a negative response. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if input has come as no or cancel, I don't want to do anything, right? So that will go in if statement. But if user has said yes or okay, in that case, I want to go ahead and delete the department. Let's see how that is done. First of all, let me put the message. Here goes the question. Here goes the if true section. I'm saying not window.confirm. Means user has clicked on cancel or no. Just ignore the processing further and return. Says yes or okay. H. I already have the URL here. I just get this copied. Ajax call I'm placing, right? API. For delete, I require department number to be passed as well. So I put slash here, then plus department number appended to it, comma. If I don't put the method value over here, by default, it is a get request which gets created. But for delete, the way how we have written our API, for delete, it's not get request, it is delete request that needs to go, right? For that, here I pass a JSON object having the property method with the value as delete. If successful, what I want to do, I handle using then. Receives data. Delete is returning the deleted record, right? Here goes the function body as a arrow function or anonymous function, lambda, whatever you call it. What it does is this dot set state. Now watch this carefully. The role of key that we have given for the tr is going to come here. Or else I can use this department number also directly. That will be little easy. So set state to a JSON object. What that JSON object has got? Data colon this dot state dot departments dot filter where the parameter d goes in another anonymous method or callback method where I say this return d dot department number equal to department number. So what this statement technically is doing, any idea?
It is filtering all those data which is except the data we are trying to delete. All the data
Correct.
except the data we are deleting.
Except the data that we have deleted, right? It's somewhere parenthesis or curly brace is not matching. Let me check. Oh yeah. This semicolon which should not be there. Just remove the semicolon from here after the return statement. So our first component is ready. Now to make this work, actually we need a lot of other things to be done as well, right? So maybe here we can take a break. Once we come back from the break, we'll see one more component being implemented named as add department, and then the UI creation, the actual UI creation. Okay?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Shouldn't that be departments colon this dot state dot departments filter, because state doesn't have an attribute called data in the set state thing.
This one, right? Yes, it should be departments only. That's a typo from my end. No, it is data only.
Sir, it's a break, right?
Yes, yes. So we'll be resuming at 11:55. Okay?
Okay.